crude oil prices. We've got you all the updates over the course of the last couple of weeks when crude has been seeing elevated levels of volatility. You've had crude oil prices, the Brent crude prices, rise as high as $130 to the barrel. They've cooled off from those levels and in fact at this juncture are trading less than $100 to the barrel. Let's talk about this in a little bit more detail. We're joined by Abhishek Kumar, Senior Energy Analyst at Interfax Global Energy. Thanks so much, Abhishek, for taking the time. Help understand the latest move. You've seen crude oil prices go as high as 130 and barely a few days later you've had it fall below 100. Of course, there's talk now about the whole resurgence of COVID-19 in China, and as a large consumer of oil, that is seeing denting demand for the commodity. Do we continue seeing these wild moves?
Hi, so I'm the Chief Analytics Officer at Energy Projections. So coming to the question that you asked, recent falls in oil prices are sentiment driven, but oil fundamentals have not changed much. So events related to Russia's aggression in Ukraine will remain the predominant factor affecting oil prices in the near term. This also means that we will see high volatility in oil prices over the coming weeks. And we are already seeing such kind of big moves, a very volatile market. So ongoing negotiations between Moscow and Kyiv and tentative signs that the two sides could arrive at a compromise have weighed on oil prices. Nevertheless, the expanding influence of Russia's offensive in Ukraine, especially closer to the European Union border, will keep the market on edge. So a lack of appetite in the West to impose blanket sanctions on Russia's oil and natural gas supplies has also dampened oil prices recently. So the EU, for instance, is taking measures to reduce its dependence on Russian oil and gas in the medium to long term. But they have shied away so far from imposing blanket sanctions on oil and gas that they buy from Russia. So that's going to be one of the predominant factors deciding oil price moves over the coming weeks in the short term. So elsewhere, rising prospects of a resumption of Iran's nuclear deal has also been a bearish factor for oil prices. However, it needs to be seen how quickly Western sanctions on Iran can be relaxed. And subsequently, how soon Iran can achieve a significant boost in its oil export. So once again, sentiment is playing its part over here and weighing on oil prices. And then finally, one point I would like to make is expectations are also growing that the US Federal Reserve will tighten its monetary policy further, most probably by hiking interest rates.
Right.
Now, so such a move will bolster the US dollar index, and which in turn is also bearish for prices.
Abhishek, just a final point. I'm going to ask you to stick your neck out a little bit. Could you give us a range as to where you're expecting crude oil prices to be?
Well, that's going to be difficult at this point. But what I can say is, instead of giving a number, what are the key factors that will decide, and the most important factor is what's happening between Russia and Ukraine. So if the conflict escalates, and if the West imposes sanctions curtailing supplies from Russia in the short term, then we'll see prices rising higher sharply. On the other side, if negotiations are successful, then we'll see pressure on prices.
Right. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for joining in and for contextualizing that for us.